makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin.
He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
The second week of the 2019 YNZR Unreal Tour takes us to Texas Motor Speedway, a 1.5-mile racetrack known for incredible action with these NASCAR Truck Series machines. And after starting a race season last week at Daytona, what a week that was, Finian. We had pit stops go wrong and winners left and right in terms of the drafting package there. But Finian, we go to a different racetrack style now. The intermediate tracks that make up a lot of the schedule, as well as the short tracks. But we take a look at a racetrack like this. Texas, some unknowns tonight with drivers competing in a new series that are new to this series for 2019.
Yeah, indeed. And if we go down to the track, we'll see Matt Hagethorn, our winner from last week at Daytona. Here he is coming up there, leading the points currently. So currently in 11th. He might drop down the order quite a bit. So we'll keep an eye on his time as the rest of the drivers make their qualifying laps.
Paul Ross in the number 18 has come through for position number 2. It looks like he's going to stop there. Chad Brown of the 64 scrapes the fence out of turn 4. He's going to find himself hard in the fence at the start-finish line. Jamie Dobbs is out on the track right now and popping in the frame here. But Matt Grunberg in the 54, we talked about him. He's going to be one of the drivers to beat all season long. And tonight, in that number 54, that blue Toyota Tundra, come across the line for his first lap. And let's see where it puts him in. It's also been actually his warm-up lap, so he's on timing right now.
Yeah, but we definitely expect him to be up towards the top of the chart, especially even drivers like Levi Zielinski and Carlos Casa, Kyle Hancho. We expect those guys to be up towards the top of the grid. Where exactly they are, we really have to see.
Running through turns 3 and turn 4 and fitting multiple grooves kind of available here in Texas. You got to get a bit creative to make it work, though. I think that we'll see a lot of bottom feeders tonight. Comes across the line, 30.569 for the 54. Where is it going to put him? Up to the pole for now. He's going to hang on to it with 1 minute and 28 seconds remaining. Who is going to be able to steal it away? How about Liam Sheen in the number 51? He's out on track here this week and currently on a warm-up lap at the moment, but he's got about 1 minute and 15 seconds to get across the line. How about Levi Zielinski coming on through 30.552?
I think that's going to be up. Yep. Pole.
And that's going to be pole for the 6 car. Good move there by Zielinski to start off already strong season. Mentioned Liam Sheen coming across through, and he's going to start his lap now. The minute remaining left in qualifying. So the 6 car of Levi Zielinski on pole, Matt Grunberg in the 54, second place, McKeeboy third, Frankenfield fourth, Dylan Hickey, and now Kyle Hanshaw jumps to 5th, but Sheen comes out of turn number 2. Onto the back straightaway now, let's ride on board.
You're riding the top lane. Interesting choice there.
Well, it only will matter if he can get a second lap in. He's going to scrape the wall, and it's going to be a poor qualifying effort for Liam Sheen. I guess that'll be an abandonment of that lap there, but comes across the line, and well, it's going to be a disappointing effort there.
That shouldn't count because he got to hit the wall there, so it's going to discount the lap.
Well, Grunberg's going for a second lap. Maybe just more practice at this point.
I think he's just running around for practice there.
Comes across the line, and no time scored there, so not be enough. So Chuck Sweeting jumps to the top, Finian, in the number 26 machine. And he scrapes the wall out of turn 4, but it's going to be good enough to get him pole. Chuck Sweeting is going to start first here tonight at Texas for race number 2.
Interesting. Looking at the order, surprise, Joshua Adams in the 95 didn't put a lap in. Maybe starting.
He didn't show up in practice either, so he might actually not be here, or he might be starting from the tail. But either way, joined pretty late. But field heads down to the green flag here, finishing 100 laps from Texas Motor Speedway. What are we expecting tonight in terms of the racing? It looks like it's going to be relatively hot and slick out here, so how careful do you have to be?
I think you're going to have to be very careful. I think mainly towards the end of the run, again, on the beginning of the run with a lot of grip the tires have, and again with the large amount of downforce these cars produce, should be pretty fine. Shouldn't have too much to worry about, but again, you don't want to completely rely on that, especially as the run goes on and the tires start to wear out. Those slick temperatures are really going to make these trucks very loose off the corners.
Trucks gritting up to start the race here, and let's take note of the number 8 of PJ Payne, starting up towards the front here, Finian, but he's got a special rider on board the door, and this is in honor of his grandmother, Susan Parsons Simpson, who finished her last radiation treatment and is now declared cancer-free. So that's really cool that PJ Payne has her name above the door, and just awesome to have that on board his Victory New England number 8 Toyota Tundra for tonight's 100-lap event. And looking out the front row here, he'll be starting in that 8th spot, so a pretty decent qualifying effort and a good way to start the night.
See where he can go forward from here with this. We got about 30 trucks on the grid. Very solid showing here at Texas, and ready to get this race underway.
Cameron Rich in the number 17, and a lot of the Eisen Designs machines, Finian, always threats to win. Curious to see how they do this week. They were strong at Daytona in both series. Now the question becomes, can they get a victory here at the 1.5-mile racetracks? And you're going to be full throttle the first couple laps, but as the tires wear out, you're going to want to back down off that throttle in order to maintain your inside line that you're probably going to want to stick to. But as the field rolls off here, Finian, let's take a look at our starting lineup on the front row. It's going to be Chuck Sweeting in the number 26, alongside Levi Zielinski in the number 6 Chevrolet Silverado.
Yeah, those two guys up in the front, going back to row number 2 in third. We're going to Matt Gruenberg into Tundra outside of him. Jordan McEvoy is going to be in fourth after a very good qualifying effort for him.
Starting in row number 3 in the 5th spot, Chad Frankenfield, the number 15 winner of the Driver Development Series, alongside Kyle Hanshaw in the number 46. Although I don't know if Hanshaw, yes, he did get rolling here. He's just a bit behind. And Dylan Hickey, 7th. PJ Payne, we mentioned, starting 8th. We'll let the rest of that scroll along the bottom of your screen. But Texas is a big racetrack, but this track is also not symmetrical. Turns 3 and 4, I think, a bit trickier than 1 and 2. But the exit of turn 2, it flattens out so quick, you might find your drivers in the fence out of turn 2 quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, typically turn 2, drivers get a lot more tighter in turn 2 than turn 4. But I've seen, you saw in qualifying 2 drivers scrape the wall in turn 4, so you never know. Again, those are slightly different conditions, though. Nice and bright and sunny for this race, so slightly different conditions. We'll see how these guys handle with that, but that might be something to keep in mind.
Johnny Thomas starting all the way back in 14th, and we know he's going to be strong tonight. Dustin Colvin 15th, Thomas Morris back in 16th. A lot of strong drivers starting relatively deep in the field, but the pace car is going to roll out here out of turn number 4. 100 laps, about 150 miles in the second race of 2019 for the YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour. Pace car off. And Chuck Sweeting, the number 26, going to lead them down. Green flag flies, and we're racing in the Lone Star State.
And off they go in turn 1. Chuck Sweeting again after getting pulled, going to lead them off. See Levi Zielinski trying to fight on the high side, but the inside lane going to be very nice on the restarts.
Look at Gruenberg on the inside, trying to pull even with the 6. And there's Chad Frankenfield up into 4th, and on the outside lane now as they rocket down the back straightaway for the first time. Some shuffling going on midfield. And there is, I believe that's Mike Stevens in the Coors truck there, the 63, going up the racetrack. To his inside comes the 48, and Nathan Velez, a new scheme on board that truck this week.
Whoa.
Car in the grass already.
Oh, someone spinning in the front.
Whoa,
Contact Chuck Sweeting.
Field scatters,
and
everyone's wadded up.
And it's the big one already on lap number 1.
Wow, so many trucks taken out 1 lap into this event, Finian, and you have to wonder, how did this happen? We're not even a mile and a half into this race, and we've already taken out a bunch of trucks. But let's find Chuck Sweeting where that all started. And
did he get tight off of 4? I'm wondering, because again, we saw some guys do it and do it in qualifying. Now I'm curious if that ended up having effect here. Let's see, off the corner. Yeah, hit the wall.
Scrapes the wall. There was a whole other separate incident behind, but you see that's the 6th of Zielinski.
This was the main incident.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is the main incident. It took out everyone as they were trying to scramble.
Oh, and they just piled in there, Finian, not expecting a caution this early. No one was slowing down. No one was ready for that as they come out of turn 4. And Chuck Sweeting is retired, and the 7 truck of Vicky was the one that was sideways. And they all just wad up, and McEvoy's got nowhere to go. Kyle Hanshaw got a piece of it as the rest of the field stacks up here. And look at the 44. Oh, who was that drilled him? That was the 41 of Craig Schroeder. Blew in here. Let's take a look from on board the 41.
Here he is all the way in the back here.
You can already see up the road. You see the truck in the grass, you think you're good. You can't really see the wreck happening until right about here, and already he's committed. You're not going to avoid this.
Yeah.
Oh. huge hit there, and so Chad Brown got a piece of it. Rusty Webb. 97 and Kyle Zimmer, I think, was back there as well. So already a bunch of trucks on pit lane, Finian, and this is not how you want to look at this. This is a junkyard down here.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of retirements right now. That's I think probably one of the biggest wrecks we've seen, and that was bigger than any of the wrecks we saw at Daytona.
Well, I mean, that's over half the field.
Yeah, and a lot of big names taken out. So we'll try to see.
Yeah, so already, wow. That's quite the.
That.
I'm wondering.
Is something wrong?
I'm thinking something could be wrong here. That or gotta be something wrong.
Yeah, because we're showing right now that almost everyone's retired.
Yeah, we're gonna double check on this real quick because I'm not exactly sure what's happening is what should be happening. So we're gonna jump to break real quick. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to SimTV, and there was an administrator mistake setting up the session here, Finian, so that would explain why we all had everyone flooring it into a big mess. So we're going to start a little bit later here. We're just going to wrap up and jump to break for a couple more minutes and restart. This was not due to the collisions at the start. This was an administrator mess-up, I believe. So looks like we're just going to jump to break. We'll get loaded in, and we'll come back to you in just a couple minutes. So stay with us. The second round of the YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour has yet to actually begin. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars, found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Legends? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Welcome back to the YNZR Unreal Tour round number 2. You haven't missed a thing. There was an administrator issue to start the first race session of the night, so we canceled and joined a new one. So we're going to start this all over again, including qualifying, Finian. So Chuck Sweeting has got the short end of the stick on that deal. He'll have to try to go again for the pole. And I want to take you a look at it while we have some more time to talk about this. So we talked about it briefly just after qualifying with PJ Payne running a special paint scheme on board that car tonight. The name above the door is that of grandmother Susan Parsons Simpson, who just won and completed her battle against breast cancer. So that excellent news for their family, Finian, and really cool to have her on the side of that truck tonight. And started 8th earlier, has to requalify. Maybe he can start a little bit better and get that truck up into the lead for this 100-lap race.
Yeah, and actually, it had a pretty good qualifying effort, and again, the guys just going around in practice. Now 3 minutes remaining for that, but we'll see if we get the race pace to get that truck up into the front.
And right now, just getting practice level and get back into session here. And Matt Gruenberg tops the board. You see PJ Payne scrape the wall down into turn number 1, and scraping the wall is probably going to be the drinking game of the night here, Finian. Every time you see a car get tight off of turns 2 or 4 and scrape that fence, you're going to want to probably choose a non-alcoholic drink for that drinking game, because it's going to be quite a bit tonight. Either the setup is understeery, meaning the front end wants to push up the racetrack, or the racetrack conditions just aren't going to allow for a good handling race car today. So you see Gruenberg going on by here with 2 minutes left in practice. Conditions going to be tricky. It was about 110 degrees earlier. It's 93 in this session, so it's cooled down a little bit, but the race session probably will be different, so I guess we'll hold tight for that.
Yeah, we saw that guys are struggling. I mentioned it before we went green that that might have been a little bit tight later on the run, but it was tight at the get-go. We saw Chuck Sweeting hit the wall, and that pretty much caused the entire field to wreck out. Well, not the entire field, but it caused most of a good amount of the field to be involved in that wreck and have some crash damage. So everyone gets a second lease on life, and they can hopefully now figure out that it's going to be very tight, especially in the pack. So gonna want to be careful.
Well, a couple of drivers that are really glad that we're starting over is Matt Hackathorn in the 44. Kyle Hanshaw in the 46 is also involved in that collision, and he'll get to restart and try again here, Finian. And again, he had some decent success last year, but I think he only captured 1 victory, and it was at Eldora, I believe. So looking for more of that this year, maybe on something other than a dirt track. And there is Thomas Morris in the 69 returning to 3-Wide Series action for 2019, and we know he's quite talented, so we'll see how he does. James Simmons in the 83 had a really strong run last week at Daytona, but wasn't good enough to win. We'll see if he can do any better this week. There's that's the 88 of Rusty Webb just behind him. And out of turn number 4, look at the runs you're going to get, Finian. If you get the corners right, you're going to go really fast. If you get them wrong, you're going to find the right side of that truck left behind a couple corners. You're going to have to be on pit road quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm curious how. Ooh.
Oh man, that's a vicious impact there.
Yeah, and Simmons decided to do 1v1 with the ball there.
But
yeah, I'm curious how these guys are going to approach the track now that they know what happened on lap 1. They pretty much all got a pretty reset there, so I'm curious if they're going to be a little bit more cautious on the start than we saw on that initial green flag run, or will they be even more aggressive because of it?
Well, I guess we're going to find out. The thing about the truck series, and this is, it's been a long time since we broadcasted a truck series. The last truck series event we did, I think, was Integrity.
Integrity, yeah.
Way back in November at Homestead Miami Speedway. So it's been quite a while since we've done these trucks, and something to keep in mind is how different they are from the Cup and Xfinity Series equipment we're used to broadcasting. A lot less power, about 525 to 550 horsepower, loads of downforce, but that doesn't mean they're easy to drive. These things are such a different beast than even the Cup cars are now. Even the Cup cars were made to drive a lot more like these, but it's still totally different. Some people would say they're easy to drive, Finian, but the amount of how close you are to the drivers around you is what's so amazing about how these things race. So you have to race so close for so long. When the tires are gone, you're still side by side with people. One little mistake can take you and several others out of the race.
Yep, and qualifying starting here, so we'll see if we'll see similar qualifying order, which I expect to see, or will we see some guys climb out to the grid. Remember, Chuck Sweeting got pole in that first race, but that was pretty much thrown out the window now, so it's up to anyone's guess, really, who's going to get pole second time. Although I would say he's in for a more than likely to get it another time around.
You know who's really thrilled about getting a second chance at qualifying is Liam Sheen in the 51. He really botched that effort the last time. And he's already sliding that truck out of turn 2. He's ready to go rolling, and he's going to not be able to... Oh, he got it.
Oh, warm up the tires.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to take a pretty good run at this to get up to speed before the green flag.
But I was probably just restart if I was in. But Craig Schroeder, he's around taking the green flag.
He's one of the drivers that flew into that wreck on the previous attempt here. So scratch everything that happened before. We're just starting all over again, albeit about 20 minutes behind our regularly scheduled time. So Schroeder on course right now, going for his first lap of the night. Coming through turns 3 and 4, going to drift up the racetrack a little bit. This is such a difficult racetrack to stay on the bottom. The banking is really flat. You get up in that outside groove and there's no rubber up there. You can just go straight for the wall. Comes across the line, 31.3. It's not going to be a great lap. We'll see if he goes for a second.
Yeah, his pole time, I think, was a 30.5.
Yeah.
Was the pole time last time through, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Paul Ross ran a 30.909, which was better, but he's going to go for a second lap. And he hit the apron going off into turn 3. That was a big mistake there.
Yeah, he's slowing down.
Mike Stevens jumps up to second place in the number 63 at 30.995, and I imagine the conditions might all have something else to do with this. 105 degrees, so conditions are slightly different. You'd expect it to be faster, though, but we still have about 3/4 of the field left to qualify. Josh Adams goes quickest with a 30.841. Where does Stevens come across the line for lap number 2? Not going to be an improvement. Actually, yeah, it's going to be about 2/10 off, a 31.162. He's going to stay 4th.
And Grunberg with a 30.7. Solid time for him. He looks like he's trying to make another lap in. We'll see if he's able to improve, although I doubt it.
Yeah, that first lap's going to be the money shot here, Finney.
Yeah.
Those tires are going to wear out really quickly, and by really quickly, I mean you got one good lap to set a lap time, and after that, they're going to be pretty useless. Across the line, 30.970 for a second lap, 2/10 off, so no improvement there. Levi Zielinski has yet to get out on track. Nathan Velez is on. How about Chad Frayfield? He's waiting as well.
And how about that was actually also, speaking of a good break, it's a good break for Adams, because remember, he didn't get a chance to put a qualifying lap in due to some unknown reason, but here he is currently in second at the moment.
Kyle Zimmer out on track right now, the Ally number 97 Chevrolet, and come across the line to begin his qualifying effort. So Grunberg, Adams, Simmons, Ross, McKeeboy, your top 5, and Kyle Zimmer rolling through 1 and 2 right now onto the back straightaway. Feels like such a big place with these little 550 horsepower motors.
He got tight there.
Yeah, you see how they're struggling to keep it down on that white line. That's the quickest way around, but out of turn 4, he's going to come across the line, get right against that grass. A 31.118 is only going to be good enough for 14th. I know for sure he's going to go for a second lap. We've seen about a 2/10 drop off between your first and second lap, so probably will not be an improvement here for the 97 car. We'll see how he does on the second lap.
Here he comes. So let's see if he gets tight in 3 and 4. We saw him get tight last time through. Looks a little bit more glued to the bottom. It should probably improve, but not by much.
31.4. Again, a big drop off for speed. So
Levi Zielinski started his lap in the 6th car. We saw him, 6th truck. We saw him up towards.
He started second.
Yeah.
Before, so we're expecting good lap time out of him. So Grunberg still holds pole with a 30.718, and I think we can still do better than that. So Zielinski's going to come across the line and begin his lap. His first time through with a 30.950, and jumps him up to P6, but he was warming up here for the second lap.
Yeah, we'll see. We haven't seen someone put in a faster second lap, but we'll see what Zielinski can do.
I've also seen people on their first lap really trying for it. I think if you run a high line just to get your momentum up, it might help you. But again, not able to hold that inside groove. Maybe the inside's not the place to be. Maybe the track is rubbering in about a lane above that. Out of turn 4, he's going to come across the line. Where does Zielinski slot in? It's not going to be an improvement, a 31.089. So it looks like Matt Grunberg is in a pretty good spot to hang on to this. Yeah, Dylan Hickey comes across the line, 30.820, jumps up to P2 in the number 7 truck, the IK9 machine.
And surprising, some surprising names that didn't qualify. Chuck Sweeting, our pole sitter in the first race, he's not going to put on a time. And we also David Wilson and Richard Hines not putting in times as well.
So we got a bunch of trucks here, Finney, and over 25. And as we get ready to go racing for 100 laps tonight, let's try this all over again. But part of the night's going to be tight, understeer, and hitting the wall. I think those are the terms we have to look out for this evening. But Texas, it's deceivingly wide, Finney. It's a very wide racetrack, but honestly, the racing groove is quite narrow at times. So how do you balance your patience versus aggression at a track like this?
I mean, really, it doesn't matter. I think, honestly, with this race, it seems you're going to really need a whole lot more patience than anything else, especially getting back on that gas. We saw a lot of guys hit the wall in qualifying and in turn 1 in turn 4 in that first lap. and that caused that big wreck. So I think guys are going to try to be a lot more patient this time through, or hopefully try to be a lot more patient this time through to avoid something like that.
So a couple more trucks left to jump on the grid. We're missing about 5 of them at the moment. But Matt Grunberg in that number 54 Tundra. We remember last year he ran a partial season towards the tail end, joined relatively late, but Finian, did he put on a show? He won a couple races and just put on just a whooping, I'll say that, at a lot of different racetracks, whether it was a super speedway or a speedway or a short track. I mean, got a lot of talent inside that cockpit, and I imagine he will be able to harness it this season, be able to finish quite well, but I guess we're only in round number 2, so we have yet to see what his full potential is in the course of a season-long championship. So,
yeah, but we definitely expect him to be up in that fight, especially with guys like Chad Frankenfield and Joshua Adams, just to name a few. Also the regulars like Chuck Sweeting,
Paul Ross.
Paul Ross, yeah. I don't think Paul is... Oh, no, Paul Ross is in this. So, yeah, guys like that, we expect them to be up to the front fighting for this championship. And those are... But you never know. There could be a couple other guys that have, didn't really show their speed last season, but are definitely on it this season. Hackathorn, too. Even Hackathorn was fast last season. Just missed, I believe, qualifying for the playoffs, but didn't make it into the final.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't make it in the final round.
And Hackathorn had a great first start, the first couple races of the season. Towards the end, the performance started to trail off here. But let's head back up towards the front here, Finian. Let's run through our starting order all over again. On the front row, it's Matt Grunberg in the 54 alongside Dylan Hickey, an IK9 Chevrolet Silverado, starting in that second spot.
Yeah, nearly completely different starting order this time through. Back in the second row, Joshua Adams is going to be starting in third after being able to put in a qualifying lap. This time through, he's up towards front. James Simmons in the 83 are going to be starting outside of him in fourth.
Starting in fifth, Cameron Rich, the number 17 Eisen Tech, number 17 Chevrolet Silverado, alongside Paul Ross in the 3WideRacing car, and Paul was a championship contender last year. We'll see if he can do the same this year.
Levi Zielinski is going to be starting back in back in seventh as opposed to second place in the first race. Chad Frankel outside of him in.
For McKeeboy, 9th, number 21, and 10th. Mike Stevens, the number 63. We'll let the rest of those scroll along the bottom of your screen, but we're about ready to actually get this thing underway for good. 100 laps, about 150 miles of racing tonight in the second round of the 2019 YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour. Pace cars will roll off here in a second, Finian. We're going to get them up to speed, but watch out how close things get on these opening laps. Want to get yourself in trouble like we saw before. So now the Ford F500 pace cars make that hard left-hand turn down to the pit lane. It was treacherous last week at Daytona. We'll see if drivers can keep it under control down there tonight. Green flag flies, and again, racing in the Lone Star State.
You see Grunberg get off to a fantastic start. He's going to be clear of everyone else. Hickey, not so much. He's got the 83 all over his back bumper.
Yeah, Josh Adams to the inside, taking advantage of that as they come off the turn number 2. Starting the race. Everyone getting up to speed right now. Everyone's going to be trying to make moves when they get down to turn number 3. There's a 17 to Cameron Rich making moves, and James Simmons going to slot in right behind him. Paul Ross looking on from 6th place at the moment. He's got Levi Zielinski, who started 2nd before, started 7th now, and he's stuck there on opening lap. But look at the 83 diving to the inside, 3 wide out of turn 4 for that 3rd spot.
He's going to try to look at the outside. He's got to run, though. I don't think he's going to be able to hold it there. As there you see him falling behind the 17. Looks like they're going to break it on through the 83. Simmons trying to charge past Cameron Rich. He'll do so.
Grunberg leads the opening lap, but he's got Josh Adams all over his bumpers. Make their way down the back straightaway. Here comes the 95. He wants a piece of this as they get down to turn number 3.
He's going to look to the inside. Grunberg's going to be stuck on the outside. We've seen drivers struggle out there getting up to speed, especially off the corner. He's going to get the run here down the front straightaway.
And Josh Adams is going to lead lap number 2, but he's not clear of the 54 just yet. I think the inside groove's where you want to be for the first couple laps, and Grunberg's going to give that spot up to the 95.
Wow, and look at Simmons charge in there in the 83. He gets right up to the back bumper. Grunberg, here we're now looking at Frankenfield and Hickey duke it out.
Yeah, Hickey is dropping back really quickly, so not sure if there's something wrong inside that cockpit, but not off the start he wanted for the night. You mentioned James Simmons. Does he have some left front damage on that truck? I don't know, I guess it was just some light reflecting there, but he's already in 3rd, and Grunberg is not letting Adams get away.
Yeah, Grunberg right on his back bumper. We'll see if he tries to make another move to pass, or will he just sit there? We've seen Grunberg be very patient at times like this. He's not the most aggressive driver, but he definitely knows where to place that truck and when to charge, and then we've seen him win quite a few races by doing that.
There's the 3 of Jamie Dobbs. He's got the 25 of Justin Cole, who's inside a little bit loose there on a turn 2. There's Matt Hackathorn, last week's winner, up towards the front, following Mike Stevens in the 63.
currently in the midfield. They're trying to run that high line, get some rubber down there to run that line.
You're going to need to put rubber down there because it's not going to be fast right out of the gate. It's going to be really slippery up there. Passing the lead again. Bloomberg down to the inside in turn number 1. He's going to retake that lead, and Simmons going to slot into the bottom.
And he has been getting into that turn 1 exceptionally well compared to the other guys in front of him. He just charges in there and makes it stick, more importantly.
Trying to get to the inside quarter panel of the 95. Got there, but wasn't able to carry that momentum. So look at Josh Adams try that outside lane, and look at how much ground he loses. The 83 is going to power to the inside and take the second spot away out of turn 4, or at least get door to door and attempt to take it away. It's going to be trickier, though, as Adams has been quite successful, especially the driver development series, and already running strong here this season.
Simmons is going to charge on through. Adams is going to give him the spot.
Linsky and Chad Frankenfield fighting for 6th and 7th. These two, we're expecting to have a spectacular season. Both of them, lots of talent inside those race cars. Zielinski, one of those final 4 drivers last season. Wasn't really able to take it to eventual season champion in the truck series, but certainly had a good playoff down there as well. The Bloomberg leads, and he's now pulling a bit of a gap. How about Paul Ross?
Yeah, he muscles his way on through past Cameron Rich. Cameron Rich slowly dropping back as well. But he's going to settle in for 5th at the moment.
And Texas is so deceiving, Vinny, because you think a lot of the 1.5 mile quad ovals would be so similar, but Texas is so different when it comes to the corner exits and how the banking drops away. A lot of tracks have it transition, the banking continues onto the straightaway and then flattens out. At Texas, it flattens out before you're even done turning, so it makes it really tight out of turn number 2. If you don't have the line just right, you'll find yourself in the wall.
Yeah, we have seen drivers struggle a lot more through coming through. I know I said it. Struggle through turn 4 though. Actually, surprisingly, coming off pretty well off of 2. Haven't really seen any errors there, but again, we'll have to keep an eye on it as the run goes on and the tires wear out.
I know we're not at a dirt track yet, but Kyle Hanshaw looks like he wants it, but he got the rear end of that thing out at a turn number 2.
I'm pretty sure there's 3 on the schedule, so he's got plenty of races to look forward to on the schedule.
This is a battle all the way back for 21st spot as Hanshaw, Sweeting, and Kyle Zimmer battle there. And Chuck Sweeting, wow, what a different start this was than the attempt we had before.
Yeah, not sure why he didn't put a qualifying effort in. I'm not sure if he got in late into the session or what that was. But yeah, it started back in 26 and is currently up to 22nd. He's going to have a long night ahead of him.
There is the 48 and Nathan Velez on the inside of Corey Lindsay now as they go through turns 3 and 4. And working lap 9 of 100 already. This race is a quick one, not a very long race this evening, so you don't have a ton of time to get yourself sorted. You got to find your groove early and pick your way through the field because passing is going to be pretty tricky tonight, I think. So Nathan Velez, 18th and 15th, he's made up a couple spots here early, trying to continue that as Hackathorn and Kolb fight for, that is for 12th place. You saw Kolb get loose out of turn 2. I thought we were going to see a lot of tight conditions fitting in, but I've seen more rear ends hanging out than I have front ends in the wall.
And I think part of that has to do with track conditions. I think just with the track being a little more on the hotter side of things, I think that's causing these loose conditions. There you see Hickey and McKeeboy race it out.
This is for 8th place, and again, Dylan Hickey started in 2nd place. This has really not been the start of the race that he needed in that number 7 IK9 truck.
This is a battle for 8th place, so Hickey dropping back 6 places after the start. May continue falling back and McKeeboy gets past him.
And Fox, this is how you do a drone camera. Head back up towards the 3rd spot. Josh Adams and Paul Ross.
Yeah, Paul Ross is caught up to Adams, so battle for 3rd place going on between them. So Ross actually starting to really catch up through the field. We'll see if he continues that momentum upwards.
Paul Ross started in 6th. He's gained a couple spots early. Remember, he was one of the dominant trucks of the season. Didn't win very many times last season, but just ran so well each and every week, and we expect to see more of the same this year. But the truck that won a lot, Peter Short, no longer competing in 3-wide for 2019, so that opens up a lot of opportunities for some new winners. How about Corey Lindsay and Carlos Acosta fighting for 16th spot? Those quarters back here, Sweeting and and Kyle Hanshaw. Take a look at that on the replay real quick. They are awful close to each other in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, just almost touched fenders there, but Sweeting trying to get his way around Hanshaw and only up into 21st. So I think Sweeting's going to have to probably throw in some strategy in there as well to get himself up there.
Wow, look at that was the 97 of Kyle Zimmer hanging it out sideways on the exit of turn 2.
Much cleaner start to this race. Everyone's still out and running. Not really any damage to any trucks either.
Getting Dobbs in that number 3 and 15th spot. Not a whole lot of progress so far on the M&M's Chevrolet, but there is Carlos Acosta, who does seem to be making up quite a bit of ground, 19th to 15th. And remember, just a couple laps ago, Acosta was fighting Corey Lindsay, who started 13th. He's dropped 5 spots to 18th, so not sure what's going on inside the 00, but not going the right direction. Far on the fence out of turn 2, and I think it was either Zimmer or the 66 of Derbyshire.
I think Derbyshire.
Not any damage on that truck, so he'll be good to continue. How about for 4th place? That's Paul Ross, Cameron Rich, and Chad Frankenfield all together. And now Rich is going to dive to the bottom and Ross on the outside. And again, I'm really curious to see how this outside lane stacks up later once they got more rubber in it. But it seems like it's already starting to become a usable line here just a couple laps into the race. I wonder if that's the tires playing a part in that.
I think tires are starting to play a part in that inside line. I just think it's harder for these guys to keep that truck towards the inside. And here you see a big gaggle of cars there. You see Costa almost get into Velez.
Yeah, just inches they're playing with there. There's Hackathorn, last week's winner on the outside lane. Big run out of turn 4. He's going to be all over the bumper of Velez, but nowhere to go. Off into turn number 1. Velez carrying that outside lane. And again, I'm just curious to see how this is going to work. You already see it again. They're holding serve up there. I don't know if you could really make a lot of passes up there, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job of it so far.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a better defensive lane if anything. But yeah, Velez needs to be a lot more off the throttle. And you see Hackathorn, he was charging in there.
Contact there between the 24 and 3, and some damage to the left side of the 24. Minimal damage, but there is the number 09 of Johnny Thomas who slipped on through, but that was close quarters there.
Yeah, almost. That was very close. Thomas had to go through the grass to try to pass Costa. Still working on doing so. Costa got put back quite a few spots though after that.
And back up to position number 9. That's Jordan McKeevoy and Wade Lear. And just ahead of them, how about Dylan Hickey? He's trying to get 7th spot back from Levi Zielinski, but can't quite get the run.
He's been trying to get back with Zielinski. He's been leading this kind of second group of cars. The top 5 have broken away by quite a bit, but a 2.2 second gap to them.
Yeah, you mentioned top 5.
Whoa, Ross loose in the background. Paul Ross.
Oh, wow, he's way down on the apron. On the back straightaway, and again, we talked about the trucks being potentially tight, but there's loose for you. Wow, let's ride on board the 17 truck as he watches this happen out the windshield. Wow, just dirt tracking it and lost a bunch of ground because of it, but hung on to it. We'll get to good to see another day here.
Yeah, they got really lucky there. Was able to save the truck. Here you see Hackathorn trying to move up.
Now Chuck Sweeting, remember, started 26. He's up to 16. He's got a fast truck.
Yeah, he really did a great job saving him. That's why we didn't really see him move up that much.
That was the 46 a hand shot. He's still loose, wearing out those right rear tires early in the going here.
Yeah, even sideways on entry, but yeah, Sweeting saved up his stuff quite a bit. So he's driving through everyone that's burnt out their stuff. Is now in 16.
Now look at Chad Brown. He's loose out of turn 4 as well. And again, the track conditions might have something to do with it. It's 107 degrees on a relatively old surface, so that's grounds for loose conditions. I just thought we'd see more tight. That's usually what we see in Texas, but not the case tonight. Driver's really struggling to keep that rear end behind him.
I think a lot of guys are going to get looser off the queue, if anything, just I think due to the load put on the cars as the track flattens out.
Levi Zielinski down to 11th. He lost a couple spots here the last few laps. Not really sure what happened to him, but slipped backwards relatively quickly.
I think we're definitely seeing the guys abuse of.
Oh, he's got some damage on the nose.
Oh yeah, I think might hit the wall.
Now, let's go back and try to grab that while we still can. Trying to see where damage keeps. Laps fire. This has been a couple laps making it. He must have had this really early here. I'm not going to go too much farther back, but
yeah, he's at it for quite a while.
So couldn't quite get a replay on that. But what we can show you is how about James Simmons reeling in Grunberg. That lead that he had is gone, and he's going to dive to the inside down in turn number 3.
Yeah, and let's see if he can try to get it through here. Grunberg's got that top side, which we've definitely seen start to come in with that run off the corner, so I don't think Simmons is going to win it here, but they're going to be side-by-side drag racing to the line. I think Simmons might get him in 1.
Yeah, he led that lap, and now he's pulled along more so than dead even.
Yeah, and watch him just lunge. Yeah, he's been impressively lunging into turn 1. He's been able to get so much time on guys Racing get it. Oh, but
Trying to
Grunberg.
throttle down. You see him lifting there to keep the truck underneath him. He's going to dive back to the inside, cross him over out of turn 2.
Great job there with the crossover. Now we'll see how Simmons can react on the high side. Haven't seen him up there so far tonight, so we'll see if he's able to run that high lane.
Grunberg's going to take that lead back, but now the 83 is on the outside groove trying to keep the lead. And will Grunberg be able to make the same lunge that Simmons did? And can he defend better than the 83 did the last time through? They're side by side through turn 1, almost a quarter of the way through this race already. It's going by quick here, Finian. And Grunberg keeps it for now.
Grunberg's keeping spot. We'll see Simmons is going to try to lunge in 3 again. Looks like he's going to sit on it for at least another half a lap.
Look at Grunberg try to keep it right against that white line. Kevin Harvick line, as I would call it. And Simmons loses a couple of tenths, 3 and 4. You see Josh Adams in the background way up the racetrack. Cameron Rich trying to close in on that battle there. But flipping back to 18th, Kyle Zimmer, Hackathorn, and Corey Lindsay all fighting. And then just up the road, there's Carlos Acosta, Chuck Sweeting, and Jamie Dobbs and Johnny Thomas all in this fight as well.
Sweeting now up, broken inside the top 15, has kind of stalled out a little bit behind the 24 of Acosta. Hasn't really been able to make much forward progress since.
25 laps into this 100-lap race. Look at Sweeting all the way on the bottom of the racetrack as we head back up towards the front, the 95 and 17. Fighting for 3rd place now, Rich taking an advance. And 95 is going to be able to clear him. Maybe he'll try to go defensive down in turn 1. No, he's going to leave the lane open, and Rich is going to dive for it.
He's going to dive for it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold that speed as Adams going to get a huge run off the corner. I think Adams might even clear him.
He's loose!
Ooh.
Woo! He hang on to it, but man, these guys are driving the wheels off these things early.
Oh, and he
a
lunged.
big lunge off into turn 3. He'll take that spot away, but now the 95 is going to try to cross him up here in 4.
Because Adams got also really out of the gas too.
Wow, so close to the fence, but well, Cameron Rich took that spot away. It took a bit of work to do it, but he's got it now.
Fast for position there, looking at some other battles here. Wade Lee are holding off Mike Stevens in the 63.
Well, there's a big battle. That's the 46. Kyle Hanshaw. These guys have been just going at it all race so far. And again, last week's winner, Hackathorn, in here as well.
He's been kind of struggling. He's currently back in 22nd after starting further up.
Oh, he's in the wall on the back straight. Oh, bounces off. He's loose.
Oh, saved it.
Really struggling, Finian. That truck is not to his.
Oh,
like,
he's loose in the mid. Yeah, he's loose in the middle of the corner. You're trying to save that thing. And he's just struggling at this moment. I think that truck needs some new tires on it.
Needs tires. It needs some damage repair at this point. There's PJ Payne at number 8. We talked about his story. Grandmother Susan Parsons Simpson, on board or above the window on that truck and exiting turn number 2. It's been a pretty poor night so far.
Yeah, where did he start? I forgot where he started in this race. Back in 23rd. That hasn't really moved up, but it's actually moved back these spots. So tough night for the 8 ahead. If you see if he can try to turn around the next 2/3 of this race.
Hagthorn getting passed by David Wilson, who won the Talladega Clash in the Cup Series a couple weeks ago. Off into turn 1. Wilson's not having a great night either as we jump up to Nathan Velez, Chuck Sweeting, and whoa, that's Johnny Thomas in the 09 and Carlos Acosta right behind him. These guys are all in a dogfight for what will eventually be 13th place.
And you see Thomas now lunging to the inside. Like you said, battle for 14th place as Velez kind of getting freight trained on the outside. Acosta with quite a bit of right side damage to his truck.
All right, Finian, we're 30 laps into this thing. When do we make pit stops? It's a pretty short race. What's the strategy here, you think?
Well, I think if guys can make, I don't know if they'll be able to make it on 1 stop. They might have to do 2, and if they're gonna do 2, they might pit here within 5 laps.
Wow, look how high up on the racetrack Kolb and the 6th of Zielinski are. They were rim riding around the outside wall. So when will we see pit stops? Well, I can answer you one thing, Finian, is that Josh Adams comes on down.
Yeah, well, then that tells me I think we're gonna probably have to make 2 stops here.
At least that is lap 31, so we're not even to the 3rd point of the race yet, but I imagine we can probably go a couple more laps here at least. So early pit stop for Josh Adams, maybe an undercut. We're already about a second and a half off of our best lap time, so tire fall off isn't huge, but it's certainly enough that you can gain you a couple spots if you take a pit stop a little early.
Yeah, and definitely if you want to play that strategy of undercutting, you can definitely work out here. So we'll see how long it takes for other people to come down. There's Frankenfield on pit road. We've seen him a very strong runner, and is actually, I believe, running in 5th or 4th before he came in. So some of the front runners starting to come in. Although most drivers still electing to stay out. I think they're waiting to get probably past lap 33, and then they come on down just to make sure they're going to fuel.
Races like this that are at nice numbers, you want to split right down the middle. I think as long as I expect we're going to see a lot of green flag running tonight, so just make it easy on yourself, split it evenly, and make sure your tire wear is even across the runs.
Yeah, especially if you're a guy struggling on it too, you might want to come in just a little bit earlier, just to kind of take the burden off of it. But yeah, you definitely want to put the least amount of load on the tires throughout the run.
James Simmons took the fight to Grunberg a couple laps ago, but has since dropped off the pace. Jordan McKeeboy and Levi Zielinski going at it for 6th place right now, and a bit of a battle behind him between Kolb and Stevens as well. And Stevens going to look to the inside. Looks like he's actually going to come to pit lane, but he pulls off way down here in turn 3, Finian. But pit road here is really difficult to get to. But you see, he lost a lot of ground, too much ground there.
Yeah, I think was trying to play it a little bit safe here, but he's lost, I think, 4 or 5
spots
24
doing so.
And
really hot, Finian, and he's not going to make it in. Or did he?
He made it in. He hit the cone with the back end of his truck, so I think he should be fine as far as the penalty is concerned. It's just a matter of if he got it slowed down enough.
To find out and see if he gets a penalty here. We'll actually watch pit lane cam. There is the 24 car.
Yeah, you can see pit was a busy place after lap 33 on lap 34 on, and everyone's coming down now.
Including leader Matt Grunberg. He's in the background coming in.
See?
And Carlos Acosta up 4 tires and fuel. Nope. Looks like actually, are we good? Looks like he is serving some sort of penalty or opinion. So I would assume that's for an unsafe pit entry due to hitting that cone. So that's going to be a costly mistake for Acosta. But wow, pit road is a busy place.
And there's Acosta finally underway, not after losing a ton of spots.
Yeah.
And here's Wade Lear in the 11.
Could have been fixing damage as well, but really didn't have all that much.
Yeah,
so
I would imagine it's probably for a penalty. I think you'd be kind of a fool to fix damage under a green flag.
Yeah, probably. James Simmons leaves the pit box, and interestingly, Finian, he's actually going to take the lead away from Matt Grunberg on that sequence. And how did he do it? Actually, I'm trying to see the 83 dropping down the order.
Only a 10th of a second better on pit road. I think he just got a better entry into pit road than Grunberg, and I think that made up all the difference. You see Frankenfield, though, blowing by the 83.
Yeah, remember, he pitted a couple laps earlier, so he's got older tires, but gained a bunch of track position, but he's not going to be able to hold on now.
Yeah, but currently the guy that's leading all these guys is Joshua Adams, currently in 5th.
Remember, he was the first one to pit, though, so he's got to hope that leading guy is going to hang on for a while because he's going to have some older tires.
Yeah, I think he might be, not necessarily freight train, but I think definitely that 83 and guys behind him are going to catch up to him.
A couple of trucks have yet to pit, and they are Jamie Dobbs, David Wilson, and Sam Close. And this is kind of a mess now because you have cars that are on fresh tires and trucks that are on old tires. It makes getting to pit road that much harder.
Yeah, it makes and definitely does, especially because it's hard to keep to the inside with the older tires. So these guys also, it's kind of I'll be amazed. I wonder if they're going to even try to go on just one stop. I doubt they can make it, otherwise we would have seen more drivers off for that strategy.
If you're the only, here's the thing about general strategies, if you're the only one on it, you're either going to win the race or you're going to finish last. There's really only 2 options. There's no playing a strategy like that and getting a 5th.
Yeah, so I think these guys kind of throwing caution at the win here, and we'll see how it plays out with them.
Trucks leaving the pit lane area, and Greg Schroeder is back in 27th. This has not been a race of his life so far.
A lot of smoke on the front straightaway. I don't know where that's from. Look a little bit cloudy. It kind of dissipated now, but it looked a little bit cloudy in the beginning of the tri-oval.
Then closed down on pit lane for his pit stop. Jamie Dobbs and David Wilson still out on the racetrack. There's Dobbs right there, and Wilson, purple truck right there. And then where's Josh Adams? Come on through here in just a moment. Josh Adams, actually. Right there.
There he is. Got a 1.3 second lead to James Simmons, but it's going down every lap that passes. You see him muscling his way around Grunberg.
Yeah, so he came off pit road in front of Grunberg, so this is Grunberg going back at him. The question is, does Grunberg or Simmons have a faster truck? It seemed like Simmons had him reeled in, but now Grunberg's blowing right back by.
I think Grunberg might be a little bit more rougher on his tires in the beginning part of the run. I think that's when Simmons comes in the later part. You might see something similar here because we saw Grunberg lead the early part of that race. Simmons came up past him and never looked back since. Or, sorry, caught up to him and was struggling to pass him.
There's Carlos Acosta now going a lap down to these drivers. He's all the way back in 24th. And there's a bunch of drivers caught a lap down. They're hoping and praying that we don't get a yellow flag right here to mess this sequence up because they get trapped a lap down. So they're going to hope that everyone completes everything.
Yeah, and I think that tell's probably due to the guys that have still stayed on the track. They're about 13 seconds ahead of Adams, who's going to cycle out to be the leader.
Yeah, so we're only about 9 laps away from halfway. So if they're going to stretch this, Finian, you have to wonder. I mean, maybe they can do this. If they can get to lap 47 or 48 with a caution, I think you could save enough to make it. But they have to go at least 5 or 6 more laps if they're going to convince me of that strategy.
And then, yeah, I feel like they might have to save 2. So you're going to have to wait. You know, is it worth cutting out 1 stop just to save on tires? Because you have to also take into account, you know, how much of the tires is going to matter too. Because this seems to matter quite a bit.
Well, if we go, oh, look at the 3 car slipping inside. He actually looks like he's diving down to the inside. No, he's actually going to stay in line here. I think at this point you have to commit because you've already lost enough track position on those older tires.
Yeah.
But honestly, Finian, his lap times have not slowed that much more than where they were about 15 laps ago. Still running mid-32. So it seems like they fall off the cliff after a couple laps and then just kind of stay there. So maybe this isn't a horrible strategy. The only question is, can you make it to lap 50? If you can get to lap 50, you're golden.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind that they also had pace lap worth of fuel that they consumed as well, which is worth about a quarter of a lap, which is not a whole lot, but when you're calculating the things this closely, it matters exactly how much fuel you spent.
We'll see here. I'm actually kind of curious if they're saving at all. We can kind of ride on board Jamie Doves. She seems to be still gassing it up, so really, whoa.
Loose in turn 4. Austin Derbyshire goes on through. The 66 is currently 18 points.
A lot of guys still lapping themselves out.
Oh, sputtering.
Uh-oh.
Truck's running out of fuel. Yeah, you ain't gonna make that work.
Yeah, and
Lap 44.
actually, Wilson just came in a lot before, and
yeah, he's gonna lose a lot more time on this. So this is actually really gonna throw that strategy out the window for the 3 truck. Yeah, 6 laps short. You ain't gonna make that work. You need a lot of yellows, and then at that point, the tires are worth it anyway. So Wilson in and out of pit lane, unable to commit to that strategy. Jamie Dobbs is out of fuel on the apron. I mean, if you had started saving from lap 1, you probably could have saved 3 or 4 more laps. Then it would be in the realm of possibility. But if you're just going balls to the wall from the beginning of the race, you're never going to make that work. So, saw 88 of Rusty Webb at a turn where he was battling with 51
and
machine.
Also interesting with Rusty Webb, he actually started from the pits. He did not grid.
He's only 1 lap down. He's not in the free pass position yet. But provided we get some more yellows, he'd be in a pretty decent spot. So Grunberg leads this race. They've gotten around Josh Adams, or at least he has. James Simmons is catching him. Grunberg is the quickest truck on the
That
racetrack.
actually worked out quite well for Adams.
It
It's
did.
like buckling out in second. It seems like he's going to stay there. If anything, Simmons might get by him, but then he'd still be in third.
Yeah,
So.
we're going to pit at about, what, 15, 20 laps.
Yeah,
so
we're expected to pit around lap 6 plus or minus 3 laps.
we're essentially halfway through this run.
Yeah.
So
And
he's actually done quite a good job here. I think it's about time to do a SimTV sound surge. Welcome back to Sim TV after the sound surge here. Finian, we saw a battle for second place. James Simmons is taking it away and beginning to stretch out on Josh Adams. But for Josh Adams, that strategy, that undercut worked out. Maybe you try that for the third leg of the event here in about 10 to 15 laps. Try it again and see if you can maybe just do it by a little bit less and try to just run down Matt Grunberg, or do you think you have to commit to that and go even earlier?
Oh, he's sideways off turn 2. But yeah, I think honestly, he might want to undercut by just a little bit and see. Whoa, he's really sideways in 3. Wow.
Really fighting that loose truck. And the clouds come over the speedway here, Finney, and the track temp has dropped about 10 degrees, so it's a lot nicer to drive, but these guys are driving so hard. Look at David Wilson all over the back of the 83. Remember, Wilson is all the way back in, take a look, 21st, one lap down. He is the free pass truck at the moment, but he has to race these guys hard, because if leader Grunberg laps anybody else, he'll be in trouble if the caution comes out.
And actually, he's honestly got enough speed right now. He can try that. He can get past Simmons. He should be able to get to Grunberg from near him. So that's working out there. You see Adams. You saw Simmons pass Adams. So Adams cycled out into third place.
These guys are racing really hard.
Yeah.
At the moment.
It's funny because one's on lead lap, one's not. But the lap down car is technically the faster one on tires. Well, and there you see Wilson now look to the inside. Simmons going to take the outside lane.
Well, the racing line has really widened out since the beginning of this race. The outside groove is a lot more usable than it was the first 20 or 30 laps. And looks like Wilson's going to win that battle, but he's still got about 2.5 seconds to get back to Grunberg to get that spot.
And Simmons has been kind of falling off bait the last few laps. The last time through there, he was 2/10 of a second slower.
This is a battle for 15th. Mike Stevens, Derbyshire Hanshaw, and 3 of Jamie Dobbs is not in this fight. He's 1 lap down after running out of fuel in the previous pit stop sequence, but this is a pretty tight battle all. And Richard Hines in the 2 truck right behind them is also in this battle.
Yeah, Dobbs trying to work his way through again. I think a little bit of a blunder there on that strategy call. I don't think... Ooh.
66 scrapes the wall at a turn 4.
Yeah, I think that strategy call, not the best. It's going to send him back quite a few positions here. He's going to be completely off sequence. I mean, he could try to pit with these guys next time through to kind of get on sequence again, but he's going to lose a net. He's going to lose quite a lot of positions.
Well, drivers that were banking on strategies using caution flags, I don't think you can do that any longer. You have to readjust your strategy, because take a look at that. 0 cautions, 0 caution laps, 7 lead changes here, Finian. So I don't think you can count on any cautions at all coming out. Oh, no, as I say that, the 66 pounds the wall out of turn 4.
Ow.
Big damage to the right front of that truck, but no caution. We stay green, but as my point is, Finian, we're halfway through this race. Haven't seen a yellow. I don't think we'll see one, so make sure you adjust your strategy to compensate.
Yeah, if anything, we're going to see a caution probably coming out from someone spinning just from loose conditions. We've seen that, and really that's the most likely scenario, but if as you look now back at what happened with Derbyshire, just got tight into the corner.
He runs all right at the racetrack out of turn 4, thought he had it, and scraped that. That safe barrier wasn't there, he might have made it, but that extra couple feet what got him there. But it's better to hit the safer than it is the concrete, I'll tell you that much. No challenge up front. Grunberg, 3.6-second advantage over James Simmons. He's setting sail, Finian. Is this surprising at all? I would say no.
Yeah, no, not too surprising. Would have hoped for it to be a little bit closer. James Simmons looked like he was going to be able to be pretty much on par with Grunberg, but lost quite a lot of time this run. And for no real obvious reason, because they pit at the same time.
Truck behind him that got all out of shape entering the corner. Didn't quite see his black truck. Because the Guinness machine, I think it's the 64 of Chad Brown.
I think it is too.
And yes, it is. And let's go back and see what happened to him out of turn 2, but it was a dramatic moment, it looked like. Oh, no, just hit the wall.
Yeah, just careened into the wall, then came down to the bottom, tried to get out of people's way.
Well, that was an interesting one. Saw that a lot in the Outsiders race on Saturday night. All right, Finian. Well, it's been clean and green so far. The clouds are back, are gone, and the track temp has fallen all the way to 92, so that's going to definitely adjust the way the trucks handle from here on out. But Grunberg is just putting on a show. Does anybody have anything for him? First of all, and second of all, what happened to Hackathorn from winning the race last week to damaged and running 19th this week? This is a fall from grace early in the season.
Yeah, definitely I don't think the way he wanted this race to go. And actually, there's Grunberg in behind him ready to put him a lap down. So definitely not the season I don't think that Matt Hackathorn would have liked to have.
Grunberg has been glued to that white line all night, hasn't made any adjustments from it. And that send it decal on the rear of the 44. I think he wants to send it forward, not backwards. He's going to go 1 one lap down here. You know who that is going to take off is the 39 of David Wilson. And as Hackathorn goes that lap down, that puts the 44 in the free pass position. And now Wilson right behind. You see him in the purple truck there. Has got to get by this number 44. Although the last couple laps, Wilson was significantly quicker, about 0.7 of a second quicker.
I was talking about F1, but I just see stuff about Mercedes and Ferrari.
No Mercedes or Ferraris here, but it looks like Grunberg's driving a Ferrari or something. So he's driving something quicker than everybody else.
I was going to say, looking at this season, I'd say he's driving Mercedes, if anything.
Inside F1, but I was going for like the common folk. You know, people comparing Ferrari or Mercedes. Most people think of Ferrari because they're just better cars in general.
F1. at least not in the last.
I'm kidding. Mercedes
last
is fine.
10 years.
Everyone's gonna get upset about that. How about Jordan McKeeboy? How about Leland Zielinski running in 10th place? Is this where we'd expect him to be? I would have thought to see him inside the top 5.
I was expecting to be around 7th or 6th. Actually, the driver's in 7th. Go to the driver in 7th. Chuck Sweeting. How about that? After starting in 26th.
Yeah, that's Nathan Velez in the 48. He's down in 25th, but just up the road, about 0.4 of a second, is Paul Ross. You see him up there, and that would be for 6th place. But you mentioned it, 26 to 7th. He started on pole the first attempt of the race tonight.
I was going to say, you needed to pull some strategy trying to get himself up from position. But how on this, up into 7th, now potentially up into 6th. So, great run for Chuck Sweeting. I thought that he was going to finish out, from the look of it looked like he was going to finish outside the top 10, but here he is trying to prove me wrong.
All right, pit stop's underway here. Finning Corey Lindsay's going to be the first one. Actually, not the first one. Down a couple other drivers beat him here.
Yeah, Chad Brown and Carlos Costa, they got their servers there out on their way for their potentially final stop of the race.
Costa actually made it to pit road this time. The 17 truck is on pit lane. That's Cameron Rich. Came down from, I believe, 5th place.
Yeah. A little bit early on the sequence, though. I'm kind of surprised that he's down here, but nonetheless, he's going to get service to his car. Truck.
There is Kyle Zimmer from 14th. He's on down here. How about 2nd place, Finian heating back up? Simmons and Josh Adams. This has really worked out. The strategy, the undercut, worked for him really well the last run. I wonder if he'll try it again, but he didn't beat the other guys to pit lane. I wonder if they'll try to beat the 83.
Yeah, and actually, it looks like he's waiting more. He would have come in based off of his last pit stop. He would have come in already. But Simmons, I think he's been kind of off the pace this run. I don't know what it is, but he lost time to Grunberg. Is now going to be passed by Adams, and also the entire top 10 is spread out by 23 seconds. That's a very big difference. That's almost an entire lap spreading the top 10 car.
Contact between the 83 and the 95 to the start-finish line, and
oh man,
well, that was a bit more dramatic than it probably needed to be. But let's go back and take a look. Sure, there'll be some discussion about that. No, I think it just got loose here.
Yeah, I don't think any contact. Got very close. It's right. Speaking of right on board, right from the top here. I think they got very close.
No, the 83 got loose, but the 95 really didn't give him a whole lot of room there, either way. But it was awful close. I'll tell you that. He was out of the throttle trying to miss him. The 83. There could have been net code involved there as well. But either way, a close quarters there, and then the 83 is going to drop even further, and that's pretty decent damage to that right front fender. It probably hurts the aerodynamics of that machine.
Yeah, I've always been able to come in just now to get some fresher tires, not deal with the damage and the older tires.
Oh, look at this. This is around the leader, Matt Grunberg.
This is actually getting passed by guys who just come to pit road. I think Grunberg...
He's going to peel off right here. He's losing too much time. Might as well pit now and not lose any more time to that battle. Oh, the 97 to Kyle Zimmer making a heck of a move.
Zimmer's wasting no time to get around these trucks.
That battle again. 97 is down in 25th, so none of these passes are for position right now, but I don't know how the field got so separated, Finian, but this is really spread out. I mean, we only had a couple, about 12 or 13 cars on the lead lap before, and I think it's only going to get more separated as we go through this next pit stop sequence. Spread it throughout the racetrack. Josh Adams remains on the racetrack. Simmons has fallen a second behind, and now that the leader's pitted, you think that they need to come, but it looks like James Simmons is going to stay out another lap.
Looks like these guys trying to maybe do an overcut this time too, which is actually kind of surprising, especially considering what Adams is going to be running quite a bit on these tires.
Well, Grunberg's pit stop was a 15.2. It wasn't a great stop there. We've seen most stops about a half a second quicker than that. See where he pops out, but he's certainly going to be ahead of Adams and James Simmons. So he's actually going to extend this lead. Maybe Josh Adams tries to do an overcut, stay out way longer, and try to run down the 54 later in the run. I just don't know if that's really a great strategy.
Yeah, I'm also kind of surprised that he's going to do that too, considering he undercut before, so he's going to be running quite a few laps on this set of tires. Here you see Cameron Rich also trying to get by, that he's trying to unlap himself.
If you want to, Liam Sheen has had an abysmal night tonight and continues to just really struggle on the pit lane.
Did he miss his pit stop?
Yeah, it looks like it. Here's a look.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like you find it. His pit box isn't painted there, buddy. It's red and green. Your truck's black. No wonder he couldn't see it.
I mean, you should be able to see the crew guys on your pit wall getting ready to service you. That should be the indicator, but yeah, missed his stall, so that's going to cost him.
He's still there.
Oh, boy.
All right, so I think these leaders have committed to an overcut here, Finney. We have 30 laps to go next time through. Adams and Simmons have yet to pit. I think, actually, the top 4 have yet to pit. And Nathan Velez, Craig Schroeder, and Jamie Dobbs are all the only ones left other than Thomas Morris not pit. If we take a look here, you can take a look at the different strategies. Oh, some smoke there. That's from the internet. No big deal.
Oh, Jesus.
Really, someone's having issues. There's your leader. James Simmons is in second. David Wilson is exiting turn number 2. He's almost a lap down. He is your third place truck at the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Wilson stayed out again. He went quite a ways on these tires. I think he might come in a little bit earlier this time through.
We have 30 laps to go. Is that enough to make an overcut work for those top 2 trucks?
I mean, it might, but I don't think they're gonna be able to catch Grunberg. They're facing about a 6-second delta between them before pit stop started. I think that's just a little bit too much, with very few laps remaining to catch up to him.
Richard Hines on pit lane, and he is in and back out. But Matt Grunberg is right behind these guys now. He's actually about to pass them. Right. I'm trying to see where. David Wilson's right in front of him. Yeah, so he's actually, Grunberg's about to pass David Wilson for position. He's come across the line to complete lap number 72. Now, my question to you, Finian, is when do you make this pit stop if you're Josh Adams and James Simmons? I mean, how long is too long to wait?
I mean, honestly, I would just cut whatever run he had left in half. So I would say, if I was Wilson, I would pit right about now within a lap or 2. But let's see Grunberg get his inside
moment here. 3 wide, and he'll easily take that spot away on those fresher tires to drive right on through.
Yeah, if I was any of the leaders, I would pit soon. Actually, I just saw someone down on pit road. Don't know who it was.
Liam Sheen in the 50 line.
Ooh, probably penalty for him.
Some sort there.
The leader though still stayed out. I think this is a little bit too long.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Finny. I think for this strategy to work, you have to have enough laps to be able to actually gain ground back on Grunberg. Maybe at this point they're just hoping for a yellow, but again, you can't bank on that. We haven't really been in danger of having yellow all night, although this is probably the closest we've been is this fight right here.
There's a lot of guys, and a lot of the guys at different speeds, which is the key thing here. Guys are going to be approaching each other at completely different rates, and if you're not careful and not paying attention, you'll just ram into someone. Although it looks like everyone's going through pretty common collectively. And
it's the 69 Thomas Morris getting loose here. Not a great run for him tonight, sitting in 18th at the moment, but he has yet to pit a second time too, so he's even going to drop down farther down the order. Josh Adams to pit lane here, the 95. Finney and James Simmons stays out another lap.
It kind of surprised he stayed out. Adams looks very slow right now.
Got a fuel.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Pull up the laps and pit.
Now it's going to reset since he's been to pit road, but James Simmons was on a similar strategy. He's been out there for 40 laps, and remember, Adams was out longer, so he tried to stretch a couple laps too far. And now he just threw away what was going to be either a second or third place finish.
That's a surprising mistake. I wouldn't think Adams would make a mistake like that.
Yep, and again, this is all comes out of fuel calculation. You were talking about it during the break. Why wouldn't you run a fuel calculator or an app like... Oh no! James Simmons sideways out of turn 2.
Holy wow!
He saved it. That was a crash right there. That should have happened and didn't. And I bet you he'll come to pit road.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to have to come to pit road. He's going to run out of fuel. He's
changed tires in underpants, I think, too.
41 or 42 laps on his run. Yeah.
Oh man, he's fast.
Oh.
No, I think he's good.
I think he's good. But yeah, I was saying, guys really should be. There's no excuse to run at least even crew chief. Crew chief is a fantastic program. You see Simmons come off the corner. Wow, he did a great job keeping off the wall too. Easily hammered it there. So he did a great job saving it. He's going to come down and get service. But yeah, I think they both of them just kind of threw their races out the window there. I think they stayed out way too long.
The 95 especially. And again, we were just talking about crew chief or a third-party fuel calculation app. They cost you nothing.
Yeah, I was just saying, crew chief
prevent stuff like that.
Yeah, crew chief is a free.
And we're not sponsored by them.
We both use
enjoy using it because the fuel calculations are better, and plus it really maybe not necessarily, maybe it's a more popular thing for road because it lacks a couple features.
I was gonna say it's also a British guy that's your crew chief,
Yeah,
so
but
it is very versatile.
It's so informative.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
tells you when people wreck. It'll tell you who wrecked. It'll tell you who does the fastest lap, who's gaining on you, who's in front of you, behind you. It does so many things.
It'll tell you the name of a driver and what corner they just spun out in.
Yeah,
which I think is so cool.
It is insane. It gives you so much information too, and it's completely free. And I think the coolest thing too is that if your name, you can select for it to tell you your name, and if your name's not in there, you can message them on a board.
You did that?
Yeah, I did that. They added my name into the program, so I could actually hear my driver, my crew chief call me Finian.
And you know what? And whatever code they've got running in the background to process last names, when they call out a driver who spun out, they'll say higher. My last name's higher. Has spun out in turn 5 or turn. You know, it's like they don't. How do they know?
Yeah.
How that is pronounced? They get it right.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is a very cool program, and it's completely free. Although I do suggest you donate it because they honestly put a huge amount of time into it. It's a very good program to use, and you can actually use it for R Factor and other programs as well.
We got a slow truck. There's a truck on the 8 frame, but I guess not. My eyes were seeing things there. Kruenberg still leading by 3.5 seconds. Chad Frankenfield up to second, but losing 3 to 4 tenths a lap here.
Yeah.
If we take a look at laps since pit, it's been 3 laps longer, so that gap is only going to grow.
Yeah, honestly, if anything, it should have been shorter. But we saw the 59 run out of, the 95 run out of fuel. And where is Adams actually now?
He has dropped all the way down to 26, 2 laps down.
Tough break.
Okay, so 20 laps to go for Matt Gruenberg. He's leading by 3.6 seconds. How about Kyle Zimmer in the 97, in your opinion? He's actually recovered to have quite a good night. He's fighting James Simmons. I think Simmons is on fresher tires here. That was going to drive right around the outside.
Yeah, Simmons trying to get himself back in a good position here. He's currently in 10th and should only climb up from here. But yeah, you see Costa now.
Paul Ross. These guys are not fighting each other. Ross is 5th. Costa's 22nd.
Scooting. He blinked out?
Potentially. I noticed Nathan Velez had a he's back. But the 24 and 18 actually were running into each other on the back straightaway, Finian, so they must have had some on-track disagreement here.
Probably happy with each other. Not sure what caused it, but I don't think those guys are seeing eye to eye. Paul Ross will continue on, as will Simmons. Zimmer mounting the wall in turn 2. Still gonna hit it? Nope, he's gonna save it, but
big
hard
damage there. And we just talked about this commentator first part 50,000. That he just pounded the fence. We just talked about how good of a night he was having, and that's really going to hurt his performance. Let's take a look at this impact. Got loose and tried to keep it off the 24.
That was a hard hit.
Got up in the air. They did a good job
I think
minimizing the damage.
Yeah, but he's going to be way off base doing that. That was some significant damage to the handling of the car. I can imagine something
I'd be amazed if that steering was even straight.
Yeah, no, definitely got some suspension damage. Yeah, he's swerving down the straight because I think the truck's, it's just not handling well at all. Tough break for Zimmer, so he's going to have to try to hold on here for 18 more laps. Hopefully try to get to the end. Maybe score top 15.
See what the lap time is this time through for the 97. Across the line, it's going to be a 33 or 32.957. That's pretty far up.
Yeah, they're actually goes a lap down. And in fact, if Gruenberg gets past... that was Paul Ross almost in the wall out of turn 2. Oh, no, that wasn't Paul Ross. Who was that? Some other white truck.
Yep, that was really close. In front of Gruenberg. I see.
This is Lindsay?
Whoever's in front of Zelinsky. White and red.
I think
so
that's 46, maybe?
No, Angel's in a blue truck. Well, we're about to see who it is.
Yeah, Gruenberg's actually, he's just in behind Zelinsky.
Oh,
no, it's not.
That looks so much like Paul
Yeah,
Ross's
I thought
truck.
it was Paul Ross's too.
Is that?
Sam Close? I think it's Sam
Oh,
Close.
it's Sam
Sam Close,
Close.
right there. I think they're running...
Identical schemes today. They're driving me crazy. It is Sam Close. And he's got big damage on that right front too, so he's been in the wall. And he's in the wall again.
Right in front of the leader.
Oh, this is a scary moment for Gruenberg to have to claw his way through this. 15 laps to go here, Finian for the leader, 5.6 second lead. This is dominance on another level. He's just shot out of the cannon.
This is similar to what we've seen him do last season, dude. Just put the entire field a lot down.
And everyone's got to be looking at this and really taking notes, because if he does this every race of the season, it's going to be Peter Short part 2.
Yeah, I think so, but I mean, there are some guys that compete with him. I would say Adams, although he kind of butchered the strategy there. I'm not entirely sure why he stayed out again. I'm really shocked. I can see other drivers making that mistake, but him especially, because we've seen him, a very dominant car in some races, but yeah, that was kind of a rookie mistake for the 95.
Yeah, we haven't had any cautions tonight, but we have had quite a few drivers have all sorts of issues. Rusty Capel has retired from the race 9 laps down. Craig Schroeder 7 laps down. Damage on his truck. Liam Sheen 5 laps down. PJ Payne, we mentioned the story about his grandmother finally cleared of breast cancer this week, running in 29th. Not a great race for him.
Might have had a penalty or something had to come down pit road again because it's 3 laps down.
Well, he's only pit twice, so I don't think that's. I mean,
yeah,
unless he served it in the pit lane, which looks like he did not, at least on his most recent.
been struggling on less than that car.
Well, no changes out front. Gruenberg continues to lead Finian. Now it's by nearly 6 seconds, with 13 coming to 12 laps ago. And
there's only 7 trucks on the lead lap.
Again, this is not. I mean, Gruenberg is he's just setting a fervent pace, and these guys better hope that he's not as good as on short tracks this year as he was last year, because if he's good on the 1.5 miles and the short tracks,
yeah,
everyone's going to be in trouble. However, I think next week is Watkins Glen, Finian. Isn't it week 3 or 4 that Watkins Glen's coming up? I have to double check on that, so bear with me here. Finian's going to check the schedule. But I don't think we've seen Gruenberg tackle a road course yet.
Yeah, we're Watkins Glen.
We are at Watkins Glen next week, so good. So Watkins Glen next week, and maybe we did see him compete at COTA last year, I think.
Yeah, we did. Didn't he also compete in the IndyCar Triple Crown?
I don't remember.
Okay. But I honestly think he'll be good at those tracks. Maybe how good, it's kind of up in the question, but I think definitely he's going to be in the top 5, top 10 throughout the night. So let's see.
And Watkins Glen is a much different road course than Circuit of the Americas. So I don't think we can really fairly use that performance last season to guess what it's going to be like for him this season. There is the 83.
Oh yeah, no, he did compete at COTA. I remember checking that. Yeah.
So there's the 83 of James Simmons, who is unlapping himself, but he's dropped all the way to 7th.
Oh.
And he's in the fence down in turn number 1. So this race is not finished the way that it started for the 83.
And honestly, I think really he should have come in a lot earlier, because he lost quite a few spots here. He honestly should have been running around 3rd or really 2nd after Adams had that mishap on pit road.
10 laps to go here at Texas, coming to 9 to go now for leader Matt Gruenberg. And post battle on the racetrack down for 21st. We'll keep an eye on your leader as we come on through the final 9 laps around here.
And actually, since it's kind of a little bit of a lull in the action, let's kind of just highlight the truck schedule. The next 6 weeks are pretty crazy. The tracks we go to.
Oh yes.
Yeah. We go to Watkins Glen, then we go to Bristol, which is okay. That's kind of cool, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then we go to Eldora. Then Montreal, then the dirt track at Charlotte, and then All-Star, that's their All-Star race. I forgot where that's held. I think at Lanier or something like that.
Yeah, so we have a road course, a short track, a dirt track, another road course, and another dirt track.
I think it's at Southern National.
Hold on, so it's road course, asphalt, short track, then dirt, road course, dirt, All-Star race. That's going to be a fun couple weeks. You're going to catch all right here on Sim TV, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday nights. Coming up tomorrow night, it's going to be the Race Kings Cup Series for the 3Wide Cup Series events. And that is going to be race number 2 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So put your bets down for who's going to win that one. Tomorrow night, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then it's Fuel Host Venom Cup Series action on Tuesday, starting their Fuel Finals from Rockingham Speedway in Finian. The double file restart rule is back and here to stay for the rest of the season.
For fuel?
For fuel.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of drivers are going to be a lot more happier with that.
So yeah, so again, the schedule the next couple weeks: Watkins Glen, Eldora at the dirt track, the half-mile dirt track in Rossburg, Ohio. Rossburg. I was thinking Nico Rossburg there. And then we go to Montreal.
I mean, probably the chat's thinking about it. They've been talking about. I saw someone talking about Albon being at Red Bull for 5 years. They're talking about Russell going to Mercedes.
But then we go to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, back up in Montreal, and I'm really looking forward to that one. We've actually, the only race we've ever streamed from Montreal was a Scars Ferrari Challenge race that I was absent for. Yes. So it'd be my first time going to Montreal for a SimTV streamed event. And then again, after that, it's another dirt event at Charlotte, and then we head to our All-Star race at, you mentioned it was Southern National, I think. Anyway,
I have to readjust my schedule. I don't think they do an All-Star race. The Cup Series is an All-Star race.
Okay. We were in the right. Okay. Either way, 5 laps to go here. Finian and Grunberg's extended his lead to 8.8 seconds. Oh, also, we're saying whoever made the schedule, give him a raise. Yeah, the schedules for the 3-Wide Truck Series this year is spectacular.
Oh, I'm not even done. We go to the Sonoma Rallycross course.
Oh yeah, that's a so I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with the Sonoma Rallycross course, but it has a jump, and 3-Wide Truck Series is visiting it. So if you want to see 25 trucks take a dirt jump on a road course, you get to see that later this season.
I don't think they're going to do 25. I don't think you can fit 25. I think you can fit, I think, 14, which is still quite a bit. Yeah. But, so we're going to see actually some, I'm pretty sure they're going to have to do heat racing there, so that'll be actually pretty fun. We're going to get a lot of action.
Oh, boy.
At that track.
Yeah, I'm excited for this season and this schedule. It's probably the best stock car series schedule I've ever seen. Really excited about this year. And again, it's a long one all the way till November 3rd at Homestead Miami Speedway. So a long season. We actually return, or actually we don't return. It's 5 flags. I thought I saw Texas on there again, but it's an F, not a T. And we do return to Coda and Knoxville. 2 races that were extremely exciting last year. That's late in the season this time through. So a great season coming up, but we're 2 rounds in, and it looks like the drivers to beat Finney in those top 4 have had good runs both weeks. I don't know where the other 3, actually I don't know where all these trucks finished, but I know that they ran well at points at Daytona last week. Bloomberg comes to take 2 laps to go, 3 miles left for the 54.
Yeah, and how about, again, dominance, only 5 trucks on the lead lap right now. It's absolutely incredible what he's been able to do. No one's been able to touch him so far this race.
And that's a big worry for everyone else in this field. When you have a driver that's this dominant, this is not a fluke. This is not a guy mastering one racetrack. This is going to be a full season dominance effort by that 54, and everyone's just have to fight to keep him down.
Yeah, I don't think he said that Peter Short's not here, because I think they would have had a fantastic show throughout the season, but nonetheless, Grunberg's
they
come
did
across
last
the line.
season. They battled week in and week out with each other, and it was always one or the other winning the race. But
someone call Peter back.
Yeah, better get him back in here if you don't want the 54 to be. I hope you enjoy Matt Grunberg. He is quite the personality. We love him here, but a lap left here at Texas. It's been from the start of the race, the 54, Matt Grunberg. He has put on a show. He comes on through turns 3 and 4 here in Texas. They say everything's bigger here, but I think everyone else wanted a bigger racetrack if they wanted to stay on the lead lap. But Matt Grunberg, from the start to the finish, dominant effort, wins at Texas and just crushes the field and leaves only 5 drivers on the lead lap. And sometime today, Chad Frankenfield comes across the line for 2nd place. Cameron Rich, 3rd. Paul Ross in 4th, and then Jordan McKeevoy is way back in turn number 3.
Yeah, great run for him.
Another zip code he's in tonight, but he'll cross state lines and come across to the start-finish line, and he'll finish in 5th, and that's going to be it for the lead lap cars. Everyone else was a lap down, checkered flag in the air, race complete. Matt Grunberg is your winner. What a race that was. But and caution-free, we must add, which is only, I think, the 2nd time that's ever happened on SimTeam.
Oh, it's kind of funny. It's almost got to be an asterisk put there because we had to restart the race. But these guys got a bit of a freebie.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. But Grunberg's going to enjoy this one. He's no stranger to victory lane. Quite the talent. Entered the series late last year and put on dominant shows at a couple of racetracks. But starting the winning early this season in 2019, Grunberg's a winner. What a burnout that was. Matt Grunberg, your winner, and let's take a look at your race results here. Finian, Paul Ross gets a solid top 5 finish, as does Jordan McKeevoy. Dylan Hickey, who had a really slow start, managed to recover for 6th. James Simmons in 7th after a mistake there. Zelensky 8th. Hanshaw from the back to the front for 9th. 10th place, Corey Lindsay managed to get himself back in. Matt Hackathorn, not a great race for him after winning a week ago. Finishes 18th place.
Yeah, same thing for Velez, too. Had a lot of speed at Daytona. Is going to finish back in 19th.
How about the 95, though?
Yeah, he's going to be kicking himself for that. Bad finish for him in 26 after running up into the top 3 for most of the night. Yeah. So
was in line for at least a top 3 finish, like you said, and I'm finishing 26th. Rusty Capel, 24 laps down. Chuck Sweeting, 31st. Must have lost connection or of something. I didn't see anything.
We did see him spot out at one point, but yeah, tough break for him. After he was running and having a fantastic run, too. up in the top 10. But yeah, he's gonna lose lost connection or something happened to him. He's gonna finish back in 31st, and that sucks too because we went caution free. I think nearly everyone finished this race. So
yes, the only trucks that didn't finish this race: Liam Sheen, Craig Schroeder, Chuck Sweeting, Rusty Capel. I don't know how many of those were for crash damage. I think a lot of them were either disconnects or penalties rendered them too far down. But either way, no major crashes to speak of other than a couple wall contacts. But we'll talk to your winner and a couple other drivers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV here with 5th place finisher driver, the number 21. Jordan, a great result for you tonight. Clawed your way through the field. I didn't catch where you started. Let me take a quick look here. Looks like you started back in 9th place, so a good start and just had a good run all night long. A top 5, got to be pretty happy with how things went tonight at Texas.
Oh yeah, proud of the One Sim guys tonight. Matt had a good pit strategy, so I was able to gain a bunch of spots from that, and there was a bunch of penalties, so I was able to gain a bunch of spots and ended up with a good top 5.
Early in the season here, the 1.5 mile tracks, we go to a couple of them this season, but the diversity of the schedule is really wide. Which kind of track do you think the One Sim trucks are going to be best at this year?
We did like a practice race at Sonoma Rally, which was really fun, and I think that'll be one of the funnest tracks. So I'm excited for that one.
21 and the One Sim team finishes 5th place today. Thanks for talking to us, Jordan. Good luck next week.
10-4.
Back to 4th place, Paul Ross, driving the number 18. Had a great season last year. Didn't end up capturing the championship. But Paul, tonight, a good result for you, the number 18. I know you wanted to be a couple spots farther up the racetrack, but talk to us about your night tonight.
It was interesting. Car started out with a lot of grip, and then it was very easy to abuse your right rear and start getting super loose about 10 to 15 laps into a run. So that first run, that's pretty much what happened. And then after that, it was just trying to conserve tires and get a little bit more speed in the long run. All in all, I mean, 4th place, a lot better than our 30-something at Daytona. So we'll take the points and try to keep chipping away at these guys.
Last season, we're very successful, but this season we're missing a couple drivers that were dominant last year. Have you had a chance to evaluate the competition, and how do you feel like you're going to do this year in the points?
After watching, Chad in the DD series, I'm just looking at the results here. Matt Grunberg ran really good last year. Cameron Rich. There's a lot of the fast same guys up towards the top of the board. Then there's some of the newcomers like Simmons and the driver of the 95. They had a lot of speed today. I'm not sure exactly what happened to them, but I'm hoping if we can get into the playoffs, we're going to have a shot with the Truck Series not being a win and you're in. We're definitely going to have to points race every race, where it comes down to the dirt, which we're real hit and miss on, and the road courses, which again, they're a crapshoot. We might finish top 5 or we might finish 15th. So if we can get into the playoffs, I see us being in the Final Four and racing for it at Homestead.
All right, well, Paul Ross, great job tonight. 4th place for the number 18. We'll see you next week at Watkins Glen.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good night.
3rd place, Cameron Rich, one of the Eisentech cars. Number 17, Cameron, 3rd place result for you tonight. And clawed your way forward all night and ended up with a top 3, 12 seconds behind the leader. I know you wanted to be a couple spots further up the road, but I got to be pretty happy with how tonight went. Are you?
Yeah, I'm happy that I got 3rd. I don't really necessarily think that I had a very good performance tonight. I really didn't have 3rd place speed. I think the 83 and the 95 were both a little bit quicker. I'm not sure what happened to James, but I saw that Josh got involved in something there. But, you know, I can't complain about a 3rd place. It's just I really didn't have the pace to catch Matt at all. Like, he was just gone. He was kind of in his own level. And just had to kind of do a goofy strategy there at the end, and I just lost tire with Chad and couldn't hang with him. But, you know, it's a pretty decent night nonetheless.
I talked earlier to Jordan McEvoy about the diversity of the schedule, and this year, just like every other year, the schedule is crazy for the 3-Wide Truck Series. Where do you feel like you're going to be strongest this year? Is it these 1.5 mile racetracks, or do you think you'll be better at the more obscure ones like Circuit of the Americas and maybe the Sonoma Rallycross course?
I'm definitely more of a road course type driver myself. I'm not a fan of the 1.5 mile tracks, especially with the trucks. I don't necessarily think I'm very good with them. I never run them, so this is kind of a challenge for me, actually, running the trucks full time this year. So, you know, I'm looking forward to like the short tracks and the road courses and the goofy, you know, rallycross tracks and the dirt races, of course. But you know, they're kind of just there for me. You know, I don't think I'm going to do very well at them, but you know, I'm definitely going to try.
All right, Cameron Rich, 3rd place tonight, the number 17. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next week at Watkins Glen.
Appreciate it, guys.
Next, we're going to talk to Chad Frankenfield, who won the Driver Development Series a couple weeks ago, but we started a new season, and we're 2 rounds in, and Chad, you're already sitting in P2. Got to be pretty happy with how tonight went.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just trying to be consistent, keeping up with the track. You know, the second run there, it was real loose. And then the 3rd run, I was just trying to run the top, and it worked out real well. It was just a real clean race.
A clean race for sure, but the 1.5 mile racetrack tonight, we thought it would be tight out there maybe with what we saw in practice, but it seemed like everyone was fighting loose condition. What did it feel like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely loose. You know, I think that for some reason, I don't know what it is, I think that kind of goes into my wheelhouse. So I enjoyed that. It was definitely loose. It was definitely on corner exit. Going into the corner, it was tight, and then it would get loose on exit. So you know, I'm just glad that there was multiple lanes of racing. I mean, there were guys running the middle, guys running the bottom, guys running the top, and you know, it was just a clean race on our end. It was a good team race as far as high desert racing, and yeah, just looking forward to the Watkins Glen next week. I love road course racing, and hoping to be up front there again.
All right, Chad, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at Watkins Glen.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, the driver of the night, Matt Grunberg, driver the number 54 One Sim Racing Machine. Matt, an absolutely dominant performance again, and that's becoming a term that we use a lot when we talk about you here in the 3-Wide YNZR Graphics Unreal Tour, and tonight no different. Led the majority of the race, and for the most part had no challenges. That was a phenomenal performance. How do you feel about tonight?
It's definitely great to get one of my home tracks. I consider this and Kansas one of my 2 home tracks, about halfway in the middle of both of them. So I definitely had this race circled on the calendar when I saw it was on the schedule. So I had a lot of pressure coming in to win here. But definitely had a challenge there early with James Simmons, I think his name was, in the 83. He was hanging right there with me on the first run, but I'm not really sure what happened to him after that. But after the first set of pit stops, it was just kind of smooth sailing. There wasn't too much pressure, so that allowed me to run a little bit faster. So
looked like smooth sailing tonight, but next week we head to Watkins Glen International for our first road course race of the season. The schedule is diverse this year. How do you feel like you're going to do on the road courses and short tracks this time around?
I think we'll do all right on the road courses. Definitely don't expect to get a win there, that's for sure. But probably just hope for a top 5 at those road course races. I'm not really a road course ringer by any means, but we'll put in some practice, we'll put in some testing throughout the week, and hopefully we can get some faster or some speed for race day next weekend.
Well, Matt, congratulations. Celebrate and enjoy this one, and we'll see you next week at Watkins Glen. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and that was Matt Gruenberg, Finian, and it was interesting. I think Matt Gruenberg was the only one that said that he wasn't a road course ringer of some kind. I think a lot of people are excited and embrace the challenge of road course racing, which not everyone always does. I know we work with a lot of stock car leagues, and there's the consensus among most of them is that road courses are the devil, and that they would rather not have them on the schedule, but these guys embrace it, and I think we're going to see a heck of a race next week.
I definitely think so. Although I've noticed, though, and especially soccer leagues too, that there's a big disparity between when we go to road courses. You have the guys that are pretty good at it, and you have the guys that really aren't that good with it and are typically towards back. I think a big spread in the talent. So I think we'll see something similar to that, but we'll definitely see quite a few drivers up in the front competing with Gruenberg potentially for the win. Maybe not even him. So we'll see how that's going to play out.
Clouds come over Texas Motor Speedway, and we're done here in the Lone Star State for this season. But next week, we head to the 7-turn road course in Watkins Glen, New York, our home track. And every time we go there, I get really excited. We've got a great show coming up next Sunday night at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's run down real quick what's coming up on Sim TV this week. One last time, tomorrow night. It's the 3-Wide Race Kings Cup Series from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 9:45 Eastern. Then on Tuesday, it's Fuel Cup Series Fuel Finals action from Rockingham Speedway, the first of the rounds of their Fuel Finals at the end of the season. Then Wednesday, we are off this week, are we not? We're off this week for Wednesday, and we're also off Thursday as Scars takes an off week. They rescheduled last week's race from, where were we supposed to be? Motegi. That race has been rescheduled because iRacing was having issues that night, and the administrators decided to reschedule it for a later time, so we'll keep you updated on that when that race is planned to be run. But they're taking this week off for the Nürburgring 24 practice sessions, so no Scars action this week. Friday night is going to be the Virtual Racing League returning from Richmond Raceway, and then Indy Road Course action for the Outsider Racing League. They head to their second road course of the season after quite the event at Sonoma. I expect this time around for the Indy Road Course is going to be really exciting as well. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night, same time, 9:45 p.m. Race Kings Cup Series from Vegas. Place your bets. We'll see you tomorrow.